Hello, how are you? Let's go to the library. The library is an amazing place, and if you don't love it yet, trust me when I say that you will, because the library and the librarians are the key to your academic success. I'm telling you, you can study there, you can use a computer lab there, you can print stuff there, and there's so many resources there to help you. And it's especially great because you can access the library online from anywhere in the world. So that is a great feature. If you're not on campus and can't use the library, no problem. You can go to your computer, log on, and find everything you need. So I just want to walk you through a few things that I think are important for you to know. For some of you, this will be a review, and for some of you, maybe this is the first time you've done academic research, but that's okay because you got to start somewhere. And academic research is something that you're going to do over and over and over and over and over for every class and every assignment at higher education. So let me show you a few features of our library that I think will really help you. First of all, you can chat with the librarian just by clicking that. You could say chat now. Of course, we're not going to do that right now. Or you could just say no thanks. But you can open up a chat with a reference librarian, and their whole job is about research. Now, most of the librarians at our library are very familiar with my assignments. So when you open up a chat, you can say, hey, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Professor Jones, but we're working on informative and persuasive speeches, and she requires academic research, and this is what I'm looking for. Here's my topic. Can you suggest some keywords or whatever? They'll help you. And they are really, really good. The other thing is that we use MLA for this class right here. And if you do not want to use an outside website like, say, Purdue OWL to learn how to format your papers, well, you can just click right here and it'll take you to an MLA citing source right here through our library. So that is also another great feature. So for persuasive and for the informative speech, you are going to be using academic research. And these are the categories that fall under our assignment. You can use scholarly peer-reviewed journals and the articles from those journals. You can use academic encyclopedias. You can use books, and you can use, for informative, either one reputable magazine or one reputable newspaper. And if you're not clear what's considered reputable, be sure that you go through the module for this assignment and you read the material and or watch the lectures that I've posted so that you can be up to speed on exactly how to hit the mark for academic research for these assignments. Incredibly important. That is worth a lot of points in the rubric, so you want to make sure that you cover that. Okay, and that you learn how to cite everything properly. So there's a couple ways here. I think that OneSearch, which is a new feature that the libraries have introduced, is really great because you can just go in and you can find everything that the library has available. And that's a great thing. Some of it is too much, all right, because it'll even show you everything that's available at the library and where to find it at the library. But if you're not at the library, that doesn't help you. So it's incredibly important to figure out how to narrow that down. So let's try advanced search with OneSearch. We're going to click on advanced search. And you can see that that's got a lot of different things that you can fill in so that you can narrow down your search. So in this thing, let's say I'm going to look for articles. And I'm going to look for them in English. And I'm not going to deal with that right now. But here I'm going to put subject and contains. Oh, I don't want to do that because I just want it contains. It doesn't have to be in a particular place. And I'm going to say history of the circus. All right, so let's see what comes up. It's going to take a second. So we have 31 results that come from articles. Okay, 31, that's pretty good. So if I go through here, I'm going to look. So this right now is talking about, that's an article in the Hollywood Reporter. And this about Monty Python. So that's not exactly what I'm looking for. Some of this, even though I said that I wanted it in English, is coming up in French. But that makes sense to me because Le Cirque is very popular in France. So, The Extraordinary Afterlife of Jumbo the Elephant. Oh my gosh. That sounds like an interesting article, and I don't know. It might work. It's in a history magazine. That seems like it could be cool. So let's click over here and see what my options are. Well, my options here are that I can email it to myself, which I highly recommend. And I can also click here on citation. And if I do that, then I can click MLA, and then I can copy and paste this into my Works Cited page. Now, I bring this up right now because it's advisable to start your Works Cited page from the very beginning. That it was always the first thing that I set up, because for some reason, and you can ask anybody who's gone all the way through all of these classes in higher education, that if you do not start your Works Cited page, you think to yourself, oh, this will be easy to go back and find the article, and for some reason you just absolutely cannot. And it is annoying and it's horrible, because the Works Cited is a pain, and you always save it for the end, and then you're on a deadline, and it just gets wonky. So start it from the very, very beginning, and always email the article to yourself. If you don't use it, okay, great, don't use it. But I'm going to go ahead and email it to myself, because cjones@elcamino.edu, because I think that sounds pretty interesting and I want to read it anyway. So I'm going to email it to myself, and now I have it. If I ever want to use it, I've got it. If I don't use it, no big deal. It took me a second to email it to myself. I put it in my Works Cited and I don't use it, no big deal. Cut it, But at least you've got it there. So I feel like that might be an article I could use. So let me see. I'm going to go all the way down here. None of this is helping me. Okay. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to, I need to sign in. So you just want to sign in okay, so now I'm signed in. And so that's great, because now I can access all the features. So one thing I really want to do is I want to find stuff that's peer-reviewed. So if you're using OneSource, you can go over here and you see where it says peer-reviewed journals. I'm going to click on that because I only want to use something that's peer-reviewed. And so now let's see. Now I have 11 results. Okay. Okay. No. The legitimization of the circus in late Georgian England. Here's one. P.T. Barnum and the Greatest Show on Earth. That is definitely going to work. It says it's peer-reviewed. I'm going to open it up. I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to look at what it says. What's the description? By 1872, the circus was so big that it had to travel by railroad in 70 freight and passenger cars, pulled by 3 engines. Oh yeah, this is a faux show. All right, so I am definitely going to send this to myself. I'm going to email it to myself, to cjones@elcamino.edu. Send. I'm going to go to citation, copy and paste, and put that in my Works Cited page. So isn't that a great feature? It is. It's super cool. So this is a great article for me because it's right up my alley, and it's peer-reviewed, and it's something legitimate. So that is awesome. So that's cool, right? I know. So OneSearch is a great thing. You just have to be sure that you're finding ways to narrow that down. But let's say that I want to start from a more narrow focus. Here is where you'll find all the databases, right here. Library databases from A to Z. Click. And if you look over here on the right-hand side, you can see some popular databases. Academic Search Complete is at the top of the list because it's a huge humanities database, and it actually is an umbrella for many, many other databases within Academic Search Complete. And it's great because you can find a lot of good stuff on almost every single topic in Academic Search Complete. Credo Reference are reference books. And a reference book would be something like an academic encyclopedia. That would definitely work. Opposing viewpoints and context right here will come in really handy when we get to Persuasive, because it is a database that offers a 360-degree examination of every topic. So you'll go into the database and it'll give you the pro and con of whatever topic you're looking for, which is incredibly important. ProQuest is for newspapers. So if you're going to use a reputable newspaper, you're going to find it here. Like, you can see some of the newspapers they list: the New York Times, Washington Post, the Wall Street Journal, LA Times, Chicago Tribune. Those are some of the heavy hitters when it comes to newspapers. So this is really great, because those are the databases that can really help you with this assignment. So I'm going to start right here at Academic Search Complete. And you'll notice that it's super boring. Academic Search Complete and all of the databases, except for a few, are not like going to Google. They are not like going to a fancy website. They are not exciting. But the good news is they are legit. And that's the thing. Let's say I did some sort of study. Let's say I did some kind of study about circus animals, and I ran a study about it, and then I took all my data and I processed it, and I put it into a paper, a research paper, and I submitted it to the powers that be, other experts on this topic. And they would vet the data, they would examine how I ran my study, and if they go, yes, this is legit, they would put their stamp of approval on it, and then boom, it's in an academic journal, I'm a published author, and then you would find it here in the database. So it's gone through many, many, many hoops to get to this place where experts on that topic have decided that it is valid. And that is what you want to use. So in EBSCOhost, you are going to use this database a lot while you're in college at any level. You go to USC, you're going to find EBSCOhost. You transfer to Harvard, you're going to find EBSCOhost. You go to Cal State LA, boom, EBSCOhost is right there. So when you scroll down to EBSCOhost, this is what I want you to do first. And that is, I want you to click full text and scholarly peer-reviewed journals. That way you know that everything that you look for comes up and is legit for our assignment. Incredibly important, and it makes it easier, because how would any of us know that it's gone through a vetting process unless we click this? We wouldn't. You can't tell by looking at it. So click those things first, and then let's go back up here. I'm going to do a search for history of the circus. So I have 135. I love this article. It always comes up first. Little Dixie Circus Cemetery. It's such a great article. It's so cool. I know. I always look this up because I love looking at all the circus stuff. Just the history of it, what it meant to America. Because we can see these exotic animals anytime we want, right? But think about back in the day when the circus came to town, people were seeing these animals and these creatures from these exotic places that they had no hope of ever visiting. So the circus captures the imagination, right? So if you want to steal my idea and do the circus, you absolutely can, because it's a great topic. There's tons of data. It's easy to find stuff. So basically, these first three, I'm going to send this to myself again because I want to read that again. These first three things are boom. Look at that. Little Dixie Circus Cemetery, Circus Life, 1830 to 1920, absolutely. The Three-Ring Circus, yes. All of that. Now this one looks like it might be more about economics. So let's see if it even works. We're going to click on the Three-Ring Circus. No. Well, let's see. I'm going to look at the abstract, which is just sort of a history of what this is about. And this is just about economics. So this is not, they're using Three-Ring Circus as an analogy for what they're talking about. So we want to get rid of that. But Little Dixie's Circus Cemetery, this is definitely a good article for me. And this is how I'm going to email it to myself from EBSCOhost. I'm going to click on PDF full text. Open the PDF first, and then email it to yourself. If you go over here, isn't that picture great? I just love it. If you go over here to email, click on the little envelope, and I'm going to email it to myself. C. Jones. Apparently, I've emailed my agent from this database. That's weird. C. Jones at elcamino.edu. Circus is my subject, and I'm going to send it to myself. Great. That's done. And then I'm going to go over here to this little document looking icon. It says site. I'm going to click on that. And then I'm going to scroll down to MLA, and like a magic, I'm going to copy and paste this into my Works Cited page. Isn't that amazing? I know. You're going to be thanking me for that when you get started. Now, if you look over here, I just want to point something out about the way it's formatted in MLA. This situation is called a hanging indent. So you know how when you're writing, sometimes you indent the first line of a paragraph? Well, a hanging indent indents the second line and everything after. So in this case, you flush left with your first line, and then every line after that is indented by 5. This is called a hanging indent. So if anyone ever brings up hanging indent, this is what they're talking about. Okay? So now I've found some articles that work. I've emailed it to myself, I put it in my Works Cited page, and I'm good to go. So now I'm going to go back. Let's go see if we can find some books. Okay, let's see if we can find some books. So instead, I am going to go back to the databases. So I'm going to get out of EBSCOhost by EBSCOhost, and instead I'm going to go over here to, well, let's see if I can find some encyclopedias. We're going to go to Credo Reference, and hope that it loads a little quicker for you than it is for me right at this moment. So we'll give it a second. But you can see that if you have a topic that's like the circus, it's huge, right? So be sure you go and watch the video about how to narrow your topic so that you can, it says it's refusing to open. I'm being rejected by Credo Reference. No problem. It happens. And also what's good is that if you go over here to G, you can find Gale primary sources, and you can also find Gale eBooks, formerly Virtual Reference Library. So that's a backup to Credo Reference. But what I was saying before is that the circus is a huge topic. So I'm going to narrow it down to maybe 3 main topics. And that will also narrow what I'm searching for. So for the circus, I might say, okay, I'm going to do the history of the circus. That's a huge topic. So I'm going to narrow it down to Barnum and Bailey Circus, say P.T. Barnum. That's one. I'm going to talk about maybe the impact of the circus coming to town. And I'm going to talk about the legacy of the circus. And I'm going to use that the circus cemetery for my legacy section, because let's face it, the circus isn't very popular now because we've learned more about how animals are treated and we're more aware of that. And also it doesn't have the same meaning to us as it used to. So we want to make sure that I'm putting that into a historical context. So I'm going to go to Gale eBooks and see if I can find a book or an encyclopedia about the circus. So to start out with, oh, good. I didn't get rejected from Gale Virtual Reference Library, now Gale eBooks, and I really like this one. I use this one a lot. So I'm just going to go circus, or let's do history. History of the circus, and see what comes up. And see, there's all that good stuff coming up. The reference encyclopedias are great. Well, here we go. There's a whole encyclopedia. The Encyclopedia of World Biography. Perfect. Phineas Taylor Barnum. P.T. Barnum. This is a perfect one for me to use. And I can use this in my assignment because you can use academic encyclopedias. And here's also circus, popular culture. So it looks like there you go. So what topics are you using? There's so many great topics out there, and these databases will help you not only bring those topics alive for you, because it will introduce you to all different aspects of the topic, even if it's something you know a lot about. Maybe you're a history buff, or maybe you like basketball, or maybe you love classic cars. But going into the databases in at the library really make those assignments, those topics come alive for you even more, because it's giving you information that maybe you didn't even think of, or it's putting it into context with other topics that you never thought about. And what's great about that is it helps you start to think about some ways to make the assignment come alive for your audience, which is what your job is as a speaker. Remember, every speech tells a story, and going into the library databases is another way to look at, how do I become a great storyteller? And once you start going down the rabbit hole of research, you'll really find that it works your imagination. That's why we start with research, because I want you to go in and explore your topics first, learn more about them, and let those ideas come to you. Let the speech come to you, as opposed to just sitting down and limiting your focus to what you know or think about a topic. Go in and let the library open it up for you. And when that happens, you'll start to get some really creative ideas about how you can turn these speeches into something magical. Because let's face it, any plain old room that you're giving a speech in, whether you're doing it on campus in a classroom, or you're doing it online in a room in your home or at an office, it's not that exciting. But you're the speaker. It's your job to bring the party. And just think of all the things we just touched base on looking up the history of the circus. So think about some topics that you really think would be interesting to learn about, and then go to the library first and get those ideas. All right, so I hope that helped you. But now I want to show you a little bit of a trick using Google. So sometimes if you just go to Google and it's the search bar like this, it doesn't help you. So what I want you to do instead is I want you to Google google.com, and when it comes up in this way, you can see down here that there's something called settings. And I want you to click on settings and then go to advanced search. And then we're going to do history of the circus, because I guess I'm stuck on that topic. I've chosen that. I'm committed to it now. I'm going to do history of the circus. I'm going to scroll down, and I am going to say site or domain, and I'm going to put .edu. I've clearly been to this party before. And then I'm going to say file type. I'm going to say PDF. And then I'm going to do a search. 139,000 results. Look at that. Isn't that crazy? I know, there's another one about P.T. Barnum. I don't think you can give a speech about the circus and not include him. But look at all of this stuff. Eastern Illinois University, Louisville, JHU. I'm not sure what that is, but that sounds cool. There's something from Butler, and that's in Digital Commons, which is great. Look at all this stuff. I mean, there's so many. Belmont, FSU, wherever that is. Let's see. Some of these schools I've never even heard of. But if you keep going, you're going to see schools that you have heard of. Some of these schools are places that you would like to go. Berkeley, Illinois State University, that's a great school. Oklahoma State, DePauw, amazing. Yale, there we go. So there's all these things coming up in EDU, which is great, because sometimes you've met the scholarly requirement of the assignment, but you haven't necessarily met the speech requirement of the assignment, which is to give us a 360-degree view of your topic, something new and exciting. And you need maybe a few more sources to fill it in. And .edus and .orgs and .govs are perfect for that. So in this case, I did a .edu, and that's because schools do tons of research. Okay, tons of research. And so there you go. That's a .edu. I could change that to a .gov or a .org and find any number of other things. So this is a little Google hack for you so that you can find it. So let's just review it one more time. I did a search for google.com. I went to settings. I went to advanced search. Advanced search. My words sound all blurred together. I did, oh, look at some of the things I've looked at. Travel, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, history of the circus. All right, that's my topic. I went to site or domain. I went to .edu, and I saved it as a file type, PDF, so that I get the whole article. And I went advanced search, and there they are. And so if I'm missing a few things to really like give you a full-fledged speech that includes everything I want to, now I can fill it in with the .edu. So I met the academic requirement, and now I'm going to go and fill the speech requirement. Okay, so those are some hacks about using the library and just a refresher about how to get to everything you need. I hope this helps. I mean, skip around. This is kind of a long lecture now, but the library can be complicated, so simplify it for yourself. Stick to some tried and true databases like I mentioned. Look around, pick a topic that you like, and have some fun going down the rabbit hole. I think it's fun. I think you'll never regret going to the library and learning how to use it, because you're going to use it throughout your entire college career, and then even in your professional life, you'll be surprised how much you're going to use it. So I hope this helps, and I will talk to you soon. All right, bye everybody.